Hello and welcome to the Channel. This is Annabelle Drumm. Thank you for joining me, and today I have Francis Evans. Hello, Francis.
Yes, hello, Annabelle. It's a pleasure to be on your channel.
Yeah, my first interview on the Channel.
Yeah, channeling on channeling.
That's it. That's it. This YouTube channel is about the different ways that we can use information and instruction that comes in from the higher intelligence via our intuition, stuff that we don't just think up by ourselves, and we can use it in our jobs or everyday life or to help other people. So what I wanted to talk to you about is your channeling that you do, which is not just about instructions that are for you, but they come through you. I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit more about how that channeling works.
Okay. I was taught channeling many, many years ago. For years, I was very, very reluctant, and only ever did this when people went push, 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 and do this thing, which is really like stepping out of the way of self. So I learned how to put myself, my personality to one side, and simply listen to an inner dialogue, if you like, or an inner voice. And originally, I used to read it off a ticker tape. It used to be like a words on a ticker tape. I'd read the words and go, well, I wonder what the next thing is. And then eventually I learned hypnosis and self-hypnosis. And so I could put myself into a deeper and deeper trance state. And as I learned to do that, the messages became a lot clearer, and I became less involved to the point where now I simply disappear completely. The personality is no longer in the way between the words that are being spoken, if you like, and myself. So I don't exist, if you like, in that time frame. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it needs a huge amount of trust in
Needs,
whoever is coming through, right?
we've named this entity, if you like, Mercudan, but Mercudan has said all along that he's nothing. He's not a personality. He's not an entity of any sort at all. He's simply an access way to consciousness, or if you like, all potentials, the potentials that are available to anyone. So I don't see myself as being special like many, many channels have, like they have an entity, usually, some ascended master or something. And it sort of goes, well, I'm so special because I've got this special connection to this ascended master. Whereas I say I'm not special at all. Anybody can get out of the way of themselves and tap into this inner truth, anytime they want. In fact, we teach a channeling workshop in which we do this. We show people how to get out of the way. Now, people have varying abilities along that line,
So is it something, if everybody practiced it heaps, would they all be just as good as each other, or is it a bit like running, where some people are just talented and will do better than others?
Yeah, of course. Some people trust themselves more, or they trust their inner state more than other people. Some people find it really hard to lose control. So they have to try to control everything. And of course, if you try to control everything, you can't possibly allow anything other than what you are thinking in. So then, of course, you get caught up with your own thinking, own desires, and all the rest of it. So for me, it's, Mercudan has really said all along that we create reality as we expect it to be. So I expect it to be an easy thing to tap in, to let go of this body and the personality that that I need, if you like, to operate in the physical world. Just let go of that, and then respond directly to questions.
Right.
So, like, so when I'm working with people, uh, I can't channel for them. I can't go, right, this is what this person needs to know.
Right.
They have they have to ask what they need, what they want to know, so
Right.
that consciousness will respond directly to that question. Like for me, then I see myself more like a translator at the UN, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So this person's speaking in whatever, Russian, right? And the translator turns that into the native tongue, the native language, listens for questions or answers from the native language and translates it back into Russian. So
Yeah.
they don't get in the way. They don't go, oh, I think I'll tell this person this because I want them to know that.
Right, yeah, and being tapping into consciousness is not like talking to Auntie Millie, is it? So it's different from you might see a medium in a show where they say, "Oh, Auntie Millie's coming in and she's got this message for you." It's
Yeah,
not like that, is it?
not at all.
No,
And the Auntie Millies of the world, you know,
they're
you
no wiser than the rest of us.
they, usually they have far more, reasons to impress an idea. That
Got their own agenda.
uh, consciousness has no agenda.
Yeah.
It is a potential, and so what you're really asking for is what's the potentials here? Why is this happening? And what is the causes and what is the solutions or the guidance to help somebody get their own answers?
Yeah.
So
And what sort of
what
information do people ask you? What you've seen through, because you're not there. So when you look back on sessions that you've
when
done with
when
Mercury,
I when I talk to people, all sorts of questions from mundane, uh, what should I do about my job or my relationship, or I've got an illness, or all the way to how does consciousness work?
so you don't get people asking to get the secrets that will give them an advantage over somebody else.
Um, I've only ever had that happen once, and that was on a television interview. I
Typical.
somebody wanting to prove that it doesn't work by asking what's the lotto numbers. Now what Merck answers to that is a very simple thing, is that there are millions of people trying to create their own numbers. So essentially you're going to have the one with the most intentions, most strength and focus will begin to influence those. Now, what mostly happens, as he says, is most people get a few numbers and then they lose their focus, so they don't get the rest of the numbers. So you get randoms. Now, this particular person wasn't all that happy with that idea.
They did not very convinced.
So it's like this in the so-called real world. It's not very it's not a very acceptable thing to be doing. I mean, I think we're getting more and more accepting of these inner states now, but for a long, long time it's been in some cases next to evil, next to talking with the devil
Yeah.
style of thing. Well, and yet even those people, if they were to come, and there have been people who've felt that way and have been blown away by what they get as messages. Now, most often, what Merck has said to people, they've said to me afterwards, well, he actually confirmed what I already was beginning to get.
Right.
Like he's not giving them more, but confirming the track that they are on, which is in many ways far more potent than going off on some tangent and telling people about and there's all sorts of ideas that people do that channelers put out there.
Yes, that's it. Well, sometimes they just want it to be the big secret, the big mystique, because that makes them look more important than the next person, isn't it?
Of course, and we all could be guilty of that
Yes.
too. Everybody,
I'm special.
of course, we all want to be special, and what we haven't realised really is that we are all completely unique. So there isn't.
We're all special anyway.
Exactly. There isn't, without everybody and without all of these personalities interacting with one another, we wouldn't have the conditions that we have.
That's
whether they are good or bad, whether we are evolving or whether we're in conflict and creating all that stuff.
Okay. Are you able to do a little demo for us right now to show people how your channeling works?
Yeah, we could do that. You just have to give me a few minutes to get into the right space. Good afternoon. Once again, it is my privilege and pleasure to come and spend these few moments of your time. So, for the purpose of our conversation, and I wonder whether this will, shall we say, spark some interesting questions. Life then manifests in a sequential form from, let us put it this way, time. So the very first part of creation is to create some time, which is the span of a movement in consciousness. And the movement itself is the manifest of the space it occupies. Let us put it this way. Consciousness then within the container of a particular and unique sequence or conversation has a limited frame. Consciousness is not limited itself, but when you begin to talk about a subject, then the subject creates boundaries of which whatever is part of the subject is within it, and what is not part of the subject is outside. And so that boundary causes a space to exist. So time leads to space. And space and time manifest as energy. So as we have discussed, your scientist, your philosopher scientist, Mr. Einstein, was correct. Energy is equal to time and space. And that leads to matter. So matter and time and space. You understand what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So the very form that the physical world occupies is matter engaging with energy within a space over a period of existence, time.
So when we go, is it possible to go time traveling? Do you just end up transferring to a different piece of energy?
Let us say, when you move time, you automatically shift one's spatial position. If you like, the physical world dissolves as time begins to accelerate. Do you understand?
Is that what's
So
happening now?
of course, it is happening all the time. All every moment is a shift in space, much like, shall we say, on your old-fashioned film. One frame at a time is exposed. So it appears as if movement occurs, yet in reality it is a shifting of the spatial framework.
I've heard it explained that way before.
You understand, and the energy that is required to project that out onto the screen of matter is how the physical components surely reflect an individual's consciousness at that moment of time.
Okay.
Is that an interesting subject?
It is.
Because in the end, all things return to that principle. The reflection back into a being's eyes is what they see in front of them. In other words, everybody's experience of their physical framework is a pure reflection of themselves. So as you decide, shall we say, to make changes to the physical world, there are internal correlates and resonances happening, and it is at that time one is at the best, shall we say, position to take an evolutionary leap in faith.
So it's a bit like if I went and cleaned out my wardrobe, I'd be in a good position.
Of course, if you throw out all your old clothes, then you are less likely to fall back into old costumes. You understand?
Yes.
And when I say costumes, that is, shall we say, old roles that you play in the dramas, shall we say, the couch dramas.
Yes. A great way of losing the baggage then, isn't it?
Of course it is. Changing one's attire, deciding what is it that the person you would like to be, how would they dress? What sort of clothes would they wear? You understand, and the first thing that will occur is when you put them on, you will feel like they do not suit you. Of course they do not suit you. You are not that person yet.
Right.
But when you fit them, and that is such an important thing, because people carry so much baggage, they do not even fit their clothes. I am not just talking about those people with excess weight. I am talking about those people who look as if they have, shall we say, been dressed in old hand-me-downs.
Yes. Yes.
So,
time for a makeover. It's the beginning of the new year. Be a good time to do it. Yeah.
Of course. And what is interesting is even a small number of clothes that you can match one to the other can produce such a change in your internal references. That is how you perceive yourself, and more dramatically how others perceive who you are.
Lovely lesson. That's good. How else can we finish up today?
I think that is plenty for any audience.
I think it's marvellous. We start off with the big of time and space, and then we move down to cleaning out wardrobes.
Of course, because the principles are what are important.
Yes.
The principle acts at all levels, not that one is, shall we say, wealthy at one level, while one is needy at another. So when we look at many people that we see or think are wealthy, truly they are, shall we say, at the limits of their lack, because they have no happiness.
Yes. Yes.
That is not all, of course. There are plenty of people who are deservedly wealthy and deservedly happy. And many of those gain their happiness by helping others.
Yes. Yes.
Then this is good, and thank you for your time and your attention, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Mercredan.
So tell me, how was that?
That was fun. So there are more and more channelers that seem to be coming out of the closets these days because, like you said, it's a skill that many of us can learn and can do. Where do you see the future leading with channeling as a skill?
I think that there's a new generation of people coming into the world, and they for whatever reasons are more open to their inner being. They're more able to tap in, and they've learned this from their parents' willingness to let children do these things instead of turning them off and telling them not to be so stupid.
So these are little children you're talking about?
Little children, and now some of those little children have grown up. So I think we're bound to see more acceptance, and with the more acceptance, more proof. Whatever channeler they are going to be predisposed to their own interest anyway.
Yeah. So we get different sort of information from different people, don't we?
We do, and you have to find somebody to whom you resonate and who is speaking to you about what you want to know.
Yeah, okay. And about your own work as well. Where can we see you do more channeling?
I used to just do one-on-one people. Then I used to do little groups. Now with the internet, I do Skype sessions around the world, so anybody can actually get in touch and have a Skype session. And I do have a channeling workshop that teaches people the steps in how to channel this sort of consciousness. As more and more people come on board, and there's a network of consciousness arising, maybe we can influence how the world sees itself and bring some level of peace.
Yes. It's such wisdom as well to be able to bring that in rather than just trying to figure things out with our own brain. It makes such a difference as to how we could lead our lives. Thank you for talking to us today, Francis. I'm going to put up your website on the interview as well, so people can come and visit you and book their Skype sessions with you, or to find out when your next workshops are.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Annabelle.